Men Network. We want to just take some time tonight to share a little bit what's happening in our lives, what's happening in your M5 group, or just what's happening in your life. Let me just say that, and I sent out the link, and I just did my doctoral thesis, and my question was, what are men doing to equip their families with a biblical worldview and Christian lifestyle? And then what is the church doing to equip men to do that? I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight. But excited to have you guys on. Just share what's going on in your M5 group and what's going on that we can help you to do better. So Guy in Cold Lake, why don't you share what's going on?
Absolutely. It's been a couple of months, so this could take like about 4 hours.
That's okay.
No, actually, back in December, we took on the challenge of doing the blessings, and the guys had a great time of doing that, and they were really enthused. And I sent that to a friend of mine down in Prince Edward Island to share with some of our church friends down there as well. And he was very impressed with that too. And then, of course, in January, we took on the Daniel plan. Some of my guys have medical issues and some work, and so it was a little more difficult for them. But I did that for the 21 days and drew closer to the Lord, and I was just amazed. It was like I was just felt so protected. It just gave me such a peace as I was walking through this. And of course, lo and behold, I finished that and all the vegetables that I ate, and my wife looks in the mirror one day. She says, "I don't like the way I look. We're doing keto." So now I'm on a keto diet because I'm supporting her, right? So it's a good thing to do, right? So,
it is.
And and as far as the guys are concerned, like we did a breakfast here, I think was in October to push. No, maybe it was in February. Anyway, recently to push more of the Mighty Men Network and the M5 groups and stuff like that. So we had some responses from it. I think the hardest part is to get guys to actually step into the leadership role and take on a group, right? So I Pastor Mark and I have talked about it, and I said, you know what? I said, like, I'm retired, I've got time, and I think I'm going to try and start another group myself. Initially, my goal was that the guys that I have would branch out and start a group. But I don't want to push them to it because some of those guys work and some of those guys have different things going on. So, but I know that I could do it. So I want to engage some of our young guys in the church here. And Mark may take on one of those groups as well. But again, you know what it's like being a pastor. You can't spread yourself too thin, right? You got to be available for the people. And if he takes on another task like that, it may be, he's got a young family too. So I'm always conscious of that. So, but our group is doing well. We started out very slow, getting to know each other. Started working with the homeless shelter here. Started talking about doing different things, hosting different things for the church in order to promote men's activities and stuff like that. So, and now we're going to be promoting the man camp at Moose Lake camp here very shortly in June. So, so it's been great getting together with these guys every week. It's been a real blessing.
Good. That's awesome. That's good to hear. Todd, what's going on with your group?
Well, we've got one fellow that has a 19-year-old son that wants to join the group. So we're going to have him join on Saturday. We've been using your teachings, and because your teachings are like 45 minutes, we've been trying to make them like 15 and then just talk about what you've said. So it's been really good, except that we're run out now. So you're going to have to put some more out. But yeah, we're getting to be quite you can call it a small army that are trying to equip our families in just loving our Heavenly Father and just following His ways.
Well, that's good. That's good. Dale, what's happening with you and your group?
The group is pretty small. There's 2 of us that meet regularly. There's others that will join when they can, but so it's just the 2 of us. We are gathering to pray and to read the Word and encourage each other. And so there's, we'll look at doing another breakfast. We did one in December. We'll do another one here probably. I'll talk with the other guy about sometime in May
Mhm.
doing a breakfast, and he's the chef, so I have to go with what when he's available. I can help, but I'm no chef.
Hmm.
But otherwise, it's going steady. That's one thing I can do is keep it steady, but it's slow going and getting new guys out.
It's good. We'll talk about that in a minute. Richard, what's happened in Sylvan Lake with you guys? You're on mute there, Richard.
There you
Yeah.
go. We've been meeting fairly regularly. 2 weeks ago, we decided to kind of forego the Signal virtual meeting, and we met for Wings. And because it just, the dog days of winter, kind of we're all spread around different spots of the province, but we tried to all come into Sylvan Lake to get together, and that was very productive. It helped us connect, and the tangible around the table, and you can crack some jokes and just be real men and real time kind of thing. We are planning our first rite of passage weekend in August at one of our members' farm, and so we'll be talking to you, Neil, and seeing whether we can get you to be a part of it, or so how we would go about just doing the nuts and bolts of how that would look. But no, we're excited. There's normally 5 of us that meet on a weekly basis virtually, and just we kind of bounce around topics wise. We do look into the aspects of how we're going to be parenting our kids. Stuff comes up, and we might take a rabbit trail, and but in the end, it's all pretty amazing when 5 of us get together and pray at the end of our hour. It's pretty powerful, and we would normally kick it into about an hour and 15 at that point in time. But yeah, very good. Yeah.
I'll text you. I might be coming into Sylvan Lake this weekend, so I'll maybe text you. We might grab a coffee or something at
Sure. Yeah.
EMW.
Yeah. Oh,
Good. Paul, what's happening in Airdrie?
Yeah. Well, we just had our very first meeting this week, so it's been a while. I came back from time away in Ontario, and I just went, I gotta get on this. So I had 4 guys in my mind. They're all sort of in their 40s. They're in the marketplace. They have young families, and I'm in my 40s too. So I figured we'd all, sort of, jive together. No, I'm the elder guy. But what was very cool was they all know each other from various different contexts. Like, so this particular, I didn't know that, but that's God had that planned. This week we only had 2 out of the other 4 guys, and there we may have to adjust our time. Not quite sure. We met online, and with the expectation that we'll get together every once in a while. I think that's really important, like Richard said. I got off the Zoom call like so excited. I just went, wow, we are making a difference. And these guys feel they're hungry to grow in God. They want to be accountable. They want to deal with stuff in their life. And just to hear them pray for one another was so awesome. So we kicked off it was a good start.
Awesome, awesome. Adrian, are you there with us? Like, we can't see what we see your name.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I had no clue to what I expect, and so I was I had no idea what I'm doing here tonight. I was got an invite to come join this meeting about discipling our family, and I was curious to see what it's all about. And I wasn't expecting to be on video. So
So, Adrian, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are?
yeah, so I'm a dad and a husband and um, a follower of Jesus Christ and a working man, and yeah, live in Delaware, close to London.
And you're Francois's older or younger brother?
Younger brother, that's right. Yes.
Much better, good-looking younger brother, I see.
Yeah.
Good. Well, just kind of hang out with us, and we say that every man's a leader because you've got a family, so you're leading somebody. So, and I've met some of your kids and met your family before, so good to have you on board.
That's nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Doug, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what's going on and with your group?
Sure. Well, I actually have the pleasure of being a part of Neil's group, so with the leadership team, and so we're just growing our relationships all the time. It's really we're past the stage. I mean, I guess we're probably a pretty mature group ourselves, where we're growing our relationships to the point where we really are getting to know it, like have gotten to know each other, I should say. Francois, for example, I am a massive fan of that guy. I really love that guy. And I didn't even know him when we first went into this process. But as a member of an M5 group, though, I know I've got a responsibility to also reach out to other men and start networking and sort of being out there looking to grow a group of my own. So I've got a seed of guys, like a group of seeds that I've got planted. And what I did was I actually, because not all of them are regular church goers, I just let them know. I got in touch with them and I met with them and I said, each one of them individually, and I said, do you mind if I covenant to pray with you and commit to pray for you on a regular basis once a week? And so I'm opening up the idea of forming a group of men who are not used to being in the kind of relationship with other men, where you actually have that openness about some of the more challenging things. Like, it's easy always for me to get together with these particular gentlemen and actually sort of go side by side and do stuff together, right? But
Yep.
then there's that point where you turn and you go, so how you really doing? You know, and that's what I want. I want to grow my relationship with my group as individuals and have us come together and really ultimately covenant to support each other and be there for each other. So I'm excited about the progress of not only my home group, the group that I'm in, but the one that I'm actually growing on the side. It's the relationships are getting stronger all the time. So learning lots from Neil continually, though. All the tools that he's providing are super helpful, and just want to stay plugged in and see where it all goes. I'm pretty excited about it.
Thanks, Doug. And Doug actually just tell us a little bit about the national leadership briefing and the interview that we did a couple of days ago.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, so I don't know, some of you may know that I do a monthly leadership briefing call for leaders and again, leaders, if you're a father, you're a leader, you're a family, you're definitely a leader. So I host a leadership call myself, and I actually brought Neil on the call, and we introduced the Mighty Man Network and the this whole program to my community that I serve. And wow, I mean, it was just like I was just saying to Neil before the call tonight, how the response that I'm getting is really encouraging, because I think there's a lot of men out there that are really hungry, that if you present them with this support that you're offering to help them be more effective leaders and to learn to learning to teach and train and bless your family, that's kind of foreign to a lot of men. So I was really encouraged by the response I got when I brought Neil on and he was talking about the vision of the network and the support that was available. And I know there's a need out there because we have a community that we've been serving and we introduced it for the first time. And already when you get that kind of feedback, you know that, okay, there's something going on there. There's something that needs to be communicated. And so, yeah, thanks Neil for being there last Friday. It was really great. And I'm happy to share that briefing with anybody if anybody ever wants to see that. Hey, actually, Neil, maybe you could do you have a copy of
I got a
the
copy. I
actual-
can send it. Yep.
of your interview with me? Because you did a great job of really effectively communicating what it is we're doing here.
Sure. Yeah, I'll definitely send that out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. What I wanted to just briefly talk about is I got a call today from a pastor in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. I spoke out there with Guy Baker, who just came on. We were out in Yorkton last year about this time, April. And, we introduced them to the Mighty Man Network. But his biggest struggle is getting guys committed to doing, once a week or even once a month, getting together. And, I said, well, don't feel real discouraged because from the research that I did, 85% of men really haven't caught the vision that their job, their mission in life is to disciple their families. And I said, so why don't we just try some soft landing? So we did a little brainstorming and, what he came up with, as we kind of talked about, was to take the training session that we do on these monthly weekends or these monthly briefings, and he would do them on their Saturday morning breakfast. And he'll just do your mission, should you choose to accept it, with the training, and then get the guys to go around they're going to be sitting at round tables to discuss, how can I do this mission this month of discipling my children with a biblical worldview or with a character trait or whatever one we're doing that month. Give me some feedback, you guys. What do you think of that idea to help implement it into other groups where maybe there's not the commitment yet to do once a week, but hey, what if we do it once a month on a breakfast? Somebody, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll jump right in there, Neil. Actually, I think that's an excellent idea. It would give them a bit of a taste of what we're doing and what we're working with. I know some of the stuff that you send out on the Mondays, like there was some stuff in there like to help your kids and stuff like that, and some of our guys have young children that they're still raising. I'm a grandfather. I'm a great grandfather, so I mean, I have grandchildren that live upstairs, and so we use this stuff to help them along as well. But I hadn't used it the last time I did promotion for M5.
Yeah.
It was more using my guys to tell the other guys, like, okay, this is how it's going with us.
Mm-hmm.
So I used more of a live body to tell them like this was good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that sounds like a great idea.
So it could be a way to kind of multiply and kind of soft sell until people start to get used to it. And then, they start taking the mission and they can come back the next month, sit around a table and say, hey, you know what? I did that study with my kids and it really went well, or I didn't do it, but I'll do it next month, So I think we've got to take the long game on this. So that's good. Anybody else, any comments on that?
Well, I've
I
got
would
one.
agree.
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Doug.
I was actually just going to say, I remember back when you said that, I went, I remember back to when I first came on my group and you were asking us to do stuff. And I found it really reassuring when I knew that you were going to be there doing it with me. Like the idea that, because Neil, you really are the most knowledgeable guy, and to have you walking alongside of us, and I mean that really is helpful. So if you could do a standalone training and then we just sort of sit there and kind of come along with you, I know that for guys at the table that I know, they would be a lot more comfortable knowing that you're leading it in that way. Even though you're not present, your teaching is leading it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Richard.
Yeah, I agree as well that it's like our church in the past, what we have done, and we in our morning monthly breakfasts is that we would have a man share his testimony, and that works until you know the the fear factor gets a hold of men, and they just and so I think this, like, to introduce men to the Mighty Men Network as a soft sell, I totally believe, because there was 4 of us from our church that went, and we're trying to explain it to other men
Mhm.
and to try and, okay, you should become part of the group. Well, in some ways, some men would think, okay, what are you doing here? What's your real, what is your real target? Do I have to pay $99 a month to be a part of this group or what? And to actually introduce biblical truths that we're grappling with, that we can talk about, and then introduce that as something you can actually participate with your family,
Mhm.
I think would go a long way. And then we come back again the next month and say, so how did it go? And then some people, like you say, will do it and not. It'll start to gain some traction, especially I'm thinking for us personally. Normally we would be May, June. I already have a speaker for July, for April, and then we'll come back in September
Mhm.
along with the retreat there. We'll see what will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was just some good brainstorming there to, to spread the word around to some other guys, let them experience something before getting the 100% buy-in, because you've got your early adopters and then you've got your next adopters and late adopters. So it might be a way to kind of get more people involved.
Yeah, there's strength, Neil, in community. And I think that's what you're doing here is you're creating community. And
Mhm.
there's, what's the saying? There's strength in numbers. When we can lock arms and we can come together to fight the things of this world and just focus on our Heavenly Father, that's where the strength is.
Mhm.
And then we can see the fruit that comes out of that.
Yeah, that's
Because
good.
now we're praying for each other, right?
Mhm. And that could happen around the table. So, they could actually share, you could also introduce, like, okay, here's a question that you could just discuss even around that table and then pray with one another right there that day. So I think it's got some valid ways of kind of introducing people in a different way to the group. And hey, maybe I was talking to him and he said sometimes they have 5 guys come out for their breakfast. Sometimes they have 40. It really depends on the month, but it's a good way to kind of introduce people to the network. And really, if we're going to equip men, that's where we can start.
Yeah, for sure.